Hey everybody, welcome to the stream today. I'm going to be doing an update on Bitcoin, Nasdaq, and the S&P 500. Going to be going through all of this pretty briefly. I'm still remote this week. I'm away from my office, so I'm still using Zoom for these videos to continue to give you guys updates as we go. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here with Nasdaq. So taking a look at this, we've got, of course, we've had a pretty steep sell-off. We had a really good webinar with our Discord users just yesterday, going through a number of different things, and I just kind of like to spread the word throughout all of the community as well, to kind of let you guys know where I think we potentially are. I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Today was very bullish for a lot of different things. A lot of things, performed very well. I'm not 100% convinced, and I want to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about one of my scenarios on how I believe that the S&P 500 in particular is not done correcting yet. So I'm going to get into that here in just a moment, but I want to take a look here at Nasdaq. So we've been in a channel, as you can see here. We've been in a channel since November 10th all the way through, really where I think we topped out right around the beginning of February, beginning to middle of February. But a couple things here, this is very interesting. So from this low that I've got back here at late September, we had a nice little impulse up that I counted as a wave one. I've counted this as a wave one. And then we had a long correction down here into a two. All right. So I've used my trend-based fib extension tool to measure this move. So I've got my dominant pivot low, my dominant pivot high, and my internal retracement. Okay. I'm not worried too much about how far down we went, but what I am worried about is where that wave three would be. And I've got this labeled in green. So I've got my upside target here. Typically, we hit somewhere between the 1618 and the 175. Historically speaking, at least on the S&P 500, we've been hitting the 175 pretty consistently. But we got right inside of that zone right here. If you look left at my horizontal, you can see that we're right in the middle of that zone. It's a high probability zone for a wave three, and we hit it. We hit it pretty well. So I'm going to get rid of this channel. We hit that channel very well. All right, so now we have to pay attention to a couple things here. Realizing before I get rid of my trend-based fib extension tool, we've got an upside target up here at about 15,000. I'm going to mark this 15,750 approximately. I'm going to get rid of this guy. I'm going to clean up the chart just a little bit here. So now we have another dilemma. Are we actually going to melt up and hit that target, or are we going to get a truncation? Well, that still remains to be seen if we're going to get a truncation. But a couple things here. I'm going to hit the bottom of this guy, and I'm going to go left to there, and I'm going to try and create a little bit of a channel based on that top right there. And let's just see if we have any confluence over to the left. All right, so you can see we have some confluence here at the median, finding some support and resistance here at the median, fighting a bit. But I would say that we've been inside of this channel for a while, okay? But now moving forward, let's go ahead and extend these lines over the other way. Where could this potentially be taking us? How long could it take us to get to this upside target? Well, we would need an expansion, okay? So we talk about expansions every now and again. Here's my 1.5 expansion. If I'm going to get to that target, we're looking at, I would say, mid-April. We'll call it tax day. If we're going to get this, and that's a big if we're going to get this, we're going to be looking for somewhere around April 15th for this. And again, we're going to be looking at what we've already got as a 1, 2, right? So we've got right here, we've got a 1, 2. We need to get a big 3 here. We haven't seen that yet. 3, 4, and then we can go up for that 5. More than likely, it's probably going to look a little bit like this. Now, this is a bull case, right? This is our most bullish case that we're going to get up. We're going to poke up above this upper, right? We're going to make a new high. We're going to get above the upper. We're going to get a pullback. And then we're going to see that slingshot up there to that target, which is going to be at about 15,755. This is a pretty bullish scenario. For Nasdaq, that's a 23% gain over the next month. Is that really possible? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. But this is the bullish case. I'm going to label this guy in green because this is the most bullish case. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. We have to see a few things happen before we can even see this as reality. All right, what do we need to see happen? All right, let me just zoom in right here. Couple things. We're at some pretty critical resistance right now. We have had right here in this area. We'll actually let me box this in. All right, because we've got this low here, all the way through right there. This low here. So this box that we are actually currently trading inside of should be pretty significant resistance. It was resistance here, 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 and it's currently resistance again. So, in my opinion, this is our critical zone to push through. If we can push up and above, especially 13,000, I'm really looking for like 12.9. But if we can hold an hourly candle above 12.9, a daily candle above 13, I would say this is going to become more and more of a reality. Okay, I've got this labeled as an A, B, C. I'm not convinced that that's what's going on just quite yet, right? So you can see we've got a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a scenario as well to the A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are many, many cases that say that this correction is over and we are going up. I have to see us break above 13,000 on Nasdaq. Nasdaq has been very, very weak compared to the S&P 500. It has been much weaker, right? A significant amount of weakness when you compare Nasdaq to the S&P 500. So let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P. Keeping in mind that Nasdaq from the low, right? So let's estimate here. Nasdaq from the low has gone up about 4.7%. Tesla went up like 20 to 25% today. Pretty ridiculous if you ask me. Pretty ridiculous. Seems to me like a little bit of a sucker's rally, the way that it moved. So let's take a look at the S&P. All right. So as you can see, I've got a very thorough count here that I've got on the S&P. And it is very likely that this is not done correcting. Okay, I'm going to go to another chart on the S&P and I'm going to take a look at it on a higher time frame. But what we're looking at right here, it looks kind of bearish. Okay, I can see that we've got a nice little A, B, C into the A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ending diagonal to go right up into that C. It looks very suspicious to me. Let's put that 887 on there. Where does that land? Well, there you go. Let's get a little bit of an overthrow at 393 on SPY, 393, 394. I don't know that we will pass 395 just quite yet. Yes, I do think we're going to hit 400 this year, but I don't know if it's going to happen just quite yet. This move does not look impulsive at all. I don't see a good, clean impulse. I don't like, if this is a wave 3, we should not be seeing an ending or a leading diagonal. We shouldn't be seeing a diagonal like this inside of a wave 3. We should be seeing something that looks very, very impulsive, something that has a lot of upward thrust, something that looks like Tesla did today. But in the indexes, we didn't see that, which tells me some individual stocks were strong, but the market as a whole was weak. So I'm very cautious. I'm very cautious. I took maybe 3 equity trades today because I'm not convinced that we're out of the woods yet. Tomorrow, I believe, will be a green day. I do believe tomorrow will be green. We take this guy all the way out here to the end. We're looking at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Let this guy go to 1900 hours, UTC -5, that is going to be at the end of the day tomorrow. We're going to more than likely see this ending diagonal finish over the weekend. I bet we dump. We're going to catch a lot of people off guard that I guess tomorrow isn't Friday, tomorrow's only Wednesday. So give it the rest of the week. Maybe we move sideways, but I tend to believe that we're going to pull back. I do believe that we're more than likely going to pull back. I don't see this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because of this guy right here. It just doesn't fit. Let me go to a 5-minute time frame. We'll just kind of dig into this and look at it. It doesn't look impulsive, no matter how much you dig. This does not look impulsive. This looks like an A, B, C into an A deep B, and then a C into an A. Then we've got A, B, C, sideways, A, B, C, into the B. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, working on the 5. Working on the 5. Let it go up, let it finish that move, and I would be really strongly considering cashing out of some positions unless this guy rips up tomorrow. Like, I'm not ready to sell in the morning tomorrow. I'm willing to let the day roll. But I would be very careful. Very careful. I do think that we're going to find some support here, and I do think that futures overnight are going to be bullish again. You're going to have a lot of people that sold all the way down here. They're going to see all of this, and they're going to say, okay, well, I guess it's time to hop back in. And I don't know that that's going to be just quite time yet. Let me go to a different chart. I'm going to go to a higher time frame here so we can take a look at this a little bit deeper. All right, so I'm going to go to a 4-hour time frame. Let me just zoom out and take a look at this. All right, so this is an alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into an A, B, C into a B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's dig in where we're at right now. Okay, watch this. This guy looks very much to me like an expanding diagonal, an expanding wedge. Okay, so what's going to end up happening? All right, well, first off, looking at that other scenario, we were taking a look at this going, making a little push up, and then getting a rejection. How deep does it go? I think it'll probably come back down to 370. All right, I think it will come down to 370 before it moves up. My upside target here is going to be 4,000 if we do push up above this, hitting 4,000 before it goes deeper. I still think it's very possible it's going to hit 4,000, but I've created two different trend lines here that are important. One, and I can make some small adjustments to this to make it match. There we go. We've got a touch here, we've got a touch here, we've got a touch here. That's 3 touches on the bottom. Let me fix the top. Make sure that this looks pretty. Okay? We've got a top here, we've got a top here, we've got a top here. So it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. A, B, C. Okay? Then we move up. This still, to me, looks very, very corrective. Okay? I can't explain how corrective this looks. This looks like it's a bearish setup. Again, I'm still going to hold my equity positions into tomorrow in case it blows up and out of here. We would need to see it blow up and out of here. Then we can talk about some alternate scenarios where this is really a wave 3. Right now, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it yet. It looks corrective. It looks like it's not done, which leads immediately, we're going to come back down here to this trend line, which I have in gray. And this trend line is based off of, and I'm going to make some adjustments now that we are on a lower time frame here. Likely, it's probably going to come back down, right? So this would be wave 4 all the way out here. And we'll put this guy right there. Still, we're taking a look at 367, 368, 369, somewhere in this vicinity. This is where I would be interested in looking for buys again. For right now, I'm cautious. I'm not super bullish right now. I don't think the correction is done. If I go to a 4-hour time frame and I look at this, I'm taking a look at some of the corrections that we have seen. This correction lasted 2 months. Okay? This correction right here, how long did this one take? That took 2 weeks, corrected for 2 weeks. This guy right here in the thick of it all, this guy took over a week. All right, so 2 months. How long has this one taken? From the top, this was February 15th through the bottom, a little over 2 weeks. So the timing does make a little bit of sense, but I tend to believe that we're in for more of a correction that's going to look at least half of this guy, which took about a month, 22 days. I believe that we have a little bit longer to go, and that's going to be when we're done, right? Nobody was really anxious to buy when we were back here. Can you imagine what they're going to be like when we come down here? Think of the market psychology for just a moment. I'm only going to talk about market psychology for a few minutes here, but I'm going to take a look at this on a 15-minute time frame, and let's just talk through market psychology. All right, so we had a big pullback, right? From the top to the bottom, we pulled back 6%. And for an index, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit for an index. But now we saw this index recover almost 5%. So you've got it that it recovered, what would that be, 80% approximately? We went down 6%, we went up 5%. So we've recovered a significant amount of the pullback. So you've got a lot of people right now, they're very bullish right now. They believe that we're going to go see new highs. They are not super bearish anymore. They say that the bearish scenario has already played out and it is gone. And maybe it has, which again, is why I haven't exited out of my equity positions yet. But if we start to see a sign of weakness, and especially if we fall out of this wedge to the downside, you better believe I'm going to be the first one that's going to be getting some kind of a hedge against any of my long exposure. Okay, so keep an eye on this guy right here, because honestly, this is your best scenario for protecting your capital. This guy right here. You can see we're already, I mean, it's futures, it's 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Futures are already starting to move up, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit for us to see this guy go and see a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe overthrow it, then come down. Right? So what you're going to be looking for is the rejection and the retest. That is exactly what you should be looking for, the rejection and the retest. And that retest is where you should be considering shorting, maybe protecting your capital, maybe going to cash. Cash is a position. Nothing wrong with being in cash. Just a way for you to protect yourself. This formation right here is something that you can take action on. Right now, I'd be long. Right now, I'd be long. And tomorrow, that may change depending on how this guy plays out. Right now, we are compressing. We're getting closer to the apex of this wedge. And when it gets there, then we will make a decision if we are going to break up and go really bullish, or if we're going to break down and we're going to start taking some short positions. Let's talk about our good friend Bitcoin. Take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to go to another chart here. Bitcoin has been doing pretty good, Bitcoin also, I believe, is getting close, not quite there yet, getting close to being finished. All right. I'm just going to say this one time. You know, if you are part of our Discord, you have access to our waves indicator. And I talk about this in all of the videos that I do where it makes sense. You know, when we were down here, I was like, yeah, you've got the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the daily that are all over here in oversold conditions. You need to be buying. You need to be buying Bitcoin. You need to be buying alts. You need to be buying, not selling like a lot of people were. We were all the way down at $43,400. And I was like, you need to be buying. We spent, what, 3-4 hours down in that range. I'm like, we need to be buying down here. You need to be buying down here. It happened again right here. It's like, we need to be buying. You had the 1 hour and the 3 hour down here in oversold conditions. I'm like, we need to be buying. This is a solid buy. This was a solid buy. And look at where we are now. It has worked out very well. But now I think we're getting close to the top. I'm actually interested in taking a short at $56,300 to $56,700. I'm really looking for more like 56, 650, somewhere in this range, getting up here to the 100, because I've got two scenarios. This is either a 1, 2, and we're working on the 3, which I don't think is the case, but I think this is an A, B, C. And wave C would be finished right here at the 100, which would mean we don't see new highs, but we'd get pretty darn close. We'd get pretty darn close to new highs. So really, I'll tell you what I'm looking at. What I'm interested in is, again, getting that short there at about 56,750 or so, 56,725. I'm going to be riding that guy down for a while. I'm going to give myself about 3.5%, which would be, I'd cut my losses on the other side of new highs, because if it goes there, we're going to be making our way all the way up here to about 64,000. 64,000. But I would love to ride this guy all the way back down to $40,000. 40K. It's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm very bullish starting in April. I'm not very bullish in March. I'm not very bullish in March. Like, yeah, we had some really good, and basically I was saying on February 20th, like, you need to be buying. And yes, I was saying on March 5th, you need to be buying. But right now, I'm saying you need to shave some profit off the top. You need to be protecting your capital if you're in Bitcoin. Alts have been doing pretty good. Alts have been doing really well, especially the last 2 or 3 days. I think we're getting close to the end of that, and I think we're going to pull back. I'm interested in looking at about 40,000 to get back into Bitcoin. It might be even down as low as 39,000. I think we're probably going to raid 40K. And when I say we're going to raid it, I mean we're going to push through it, stick a needle down in that sub 40K region, and then we rip to the upside. Then we can see those targets to the upside. I think this trade, shorting there, again, at about 56,700, I think that trade is going to take the better part of 2 weeks to complete. But I think it has the potential to really, really pay out. So that is my plan. And if I get stopped out, then I get stopped out. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. We had great buys down here, great buys over here. If I get stopped out on this trade, no big deal. I lost 3.48%. What did I make on the way up here? Even if I had no leverage, and even if I didn't get the very bottom, but just somewhere in here to where we're at right now, let me go ahead and just measure this. Right, I'm risking 3.4%. I just made 30%, assuming that it gets up here to the 100. I made 30%. I'd be more than happy to risk 10% of that profit to potentially make another 30% on the way down. So that's my plan. That's what I'm doing. Ultimately, when we get into March, or sorry, the end of March, when we get into April, I'm going to be looking at this guy bottoming out here. This wave 4, I think, is probably going to be out here if this is the case, right? I'm still going to be looking for an upside target of about 78,000, right? If we push up and we get to this, I'm still looking at 78K. 78K is more than likely where this is going to go. And so that's what I am heavily interested in. If we do come back down here to 40K, I'll be looking at buying and taking it all the way up there to about 78K, which is going to be a 100% trade, right? So yeah, we pulled a little 30% trade here. We're looking at pulling a little 30% trade here, but this guy is the one that you want to be in. That's going to be your 96 to 100% trade, taking it from 40K to 78K. That's going to be the one that you want to be in. All right, guys. Well, that's really all that I've got for you right now. I wanted to take a look at Bitcoin, Nasdaq, the S&P, kind of get my thoughts out all on the table. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to throw a comment in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to try and answer all of those questions that you have. If you need access to our Discord, just throw a comment in the YouTube chat, and I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. We do have a link in the video description as well. And I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. And thanks for joining. If this video did help in any way, shape, or form, of course, like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff, and wherever you're on the world, I hope you're having a good day, night, and a good evening.